Well, it's Overreaction Monday. And we know what we like to do, and that's overreact on Mondays. Are we all in on the Phillies being back? I don't know. That's what I'm asking today. Are we all in? Should we, or should Dave Dombrowski go all in? I think that's another important question. We're going to start that conversation. We got Sixers, we got Eagles, we got other things on the agenda, trolls. You name it, we got it on the agenda today. Trend in the AM starts in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow on all social media platforms. Shout it from the rooftops, retweet it. Tell everybody to come to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network every single morning, because it's the only sports talk show in the Philadelphia area or on YouTube where your opinions actually matter. This show is based off of your opinions, not mine, your opinions. I provide the topics. Are the Phillies back? Should Dave Dombrowski go all in? Sixers, Chris Paul. Not saying Chris Paul to the Sixers. Sixers and Chris Paul involved somehow. We got Miles Sanders chirping this weekend. We got lots on the agenda. And, of course, we've got, Mr. Iconic Chatter filling the chat before the show even started with topics. So we got lots to talk about. Lots to get into today. And, I got a little interesting little joke or little side tangent at some point I will go into today about the trolls on social media and on YouTube. What is up, my man, Drew? Good morning. I hope your weekend was well. And we're going to start off with some Phillies talk, but whatever you guys want to talk about, put it in the comment section and we will get to it as soon as we can. And, as always, I appreciate it. I am Phil Stiefel, your host, as always, in the morning here. Guys, the Phillies are now, they took 2 out of 3 out of the Dodgers this weekend. Aaron Nola had a little bit of a hiccup there on Saturday. And I think it's a little bit more than just a hiccup, but it's a hiccup nonetheless. And it got me thinking, are the Phillies, I've been more critical of the Phillies than anybody else. I am called a hater. I'm called a Rob Thompson hater. I'm called a lot of things when it comes to Phillies talk. I don't buy this whole you could just turn it on in June and all will be well. But yet the Philadelphia Phillies are now 7-3 in the month of June. Kyle Schwarber has slightly turned a corner, not batting average much wise, but he's turned a corner, back in the leadoff spot, hitting home runs, drawing walks, whatnot. So I ask, are the Phillies back? I said it last week, that we had beaten some really bad teams. And then the 7-game stretch between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, what did the Phillies have to show you to say that they were back? Well, they just took 2 out of 3 against those Los Angeles Dodgers. Now they got 4 starting today in Arizona. It's a tough thing. Play a Sunday game, then travel all the way to Arizona, not get a day off when you're going East Coast to West Coast like that. But they will play tonight and start a 4-game series against the Diamondbacks. And, they're 2-1 already in this tough 7-game stretch. If they go 2-2, which is going to be a tough thing to do because the Diamondbacks are 15 games over 500. They're 40-25. They're one of the best teams in baseball. They got good pitching. We are avoiding Zach Gallen, which will help. But say they go 2-2 this week against the Diamondbacks, and that would put you at 4-3 in this really difficult 7-game stretch. Are you ready to say they're back now? Do you need to see 2-2 this week to say that? Then they got 3 against the Athletics next weekend, which the Athletics are just terrible. They better take all 3. But to the whole point, we are now 65 games into the season. They're 32-33. Are you prepared to say, not just that the Phillies are back, that the Phillies are back, are you prepared for whether Dave Dombrowski should go all in? And I think that's a big, big thing right now. I saw somebody post a story or post something in the last week or so about the Roy Oswalt trade back in the day. What was that, 2010? and how we were sputtering and pitching was an issue and things weren't just going as planned with that Phillies team. We had a big losing streak and we were like really falling behind and falling behind fast. And I guess Ruben Amaro was still the GM there. He pulls off the big trade for Roy Oswalt. Roy Oswalt pitches fantastically the rest of the season for the Phillies. I think he only gave up 2 runs or more like once the entire rest of that season there. Pitched fantastic. He came up small in the playoffs, but that's another story. So, watching this Phillies team this weekend, I did watch most of Saturday's game, most of Sunday's game. It got me thinking, like, what should Dave Dombrowski do? And should he do it to try and go all in again? They've proven that once you get to the playoffs, as long as you get hot, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. I mean, that Phillies team last year, they backdoored their way into the playoffs. Second to last day of the season, they clinched their spot, the last spot. And here we are again, floundering right around 500. We're starting to get hot in June. Would it be, and is it, a good idea for Dave Dombrowski even to make major moves? We've talked all season, the whole 3 weeks of it, with the Sixers, or 4 weeks of it. How long has it been since the Sixers season ended? And it feels like ages ago that the Sixers season ended, but we're still in the NBA Finals. Game 5 tonight. I have a feeling I'm predicting the Nuggets to win Game 5 tonight and wrap up the NBA season tonight. But we talked about, all season so far about the Sixers maybe going into a pause year, spending time, developing further Tyrese Maxey. And, is that the right thing for the Phillies to do? Just let it ride. Because you've got assets. Not a lot of tradable assets in the minor leagues, but you got some. You got some players you could trade. Griff McGreary, I hear, looks fantastic. Now as he's getting himself reared up. Mick Abel's had some really good things. You've got other prospects. Obviously, Andrew Painter's untouchable. But what are you willing to risk to go all in? Because what does this team need, this Phillies team right now? Well, they still need pitching. And they need starting pitching most specifically. I mean, how much longer can we continue on with this bullpen fifth starter, situation and continue to have success? If Aaron Nola was pitching like Cy Young Aaron Nola and not, current Aaron Nola, which is what we get every couple of years from Aaron Nola, we get a clunker of a season. It's the non-clunker of the seasons that we hope we get from him. The question is, if he was pitching better, if he was pitching well, then that fifth starter spot, not having one, would be a little bit more palpable. Taijuan Walker is not pitching super consistent, but he's getting better. Ranger Suarez is pitching better in his last 2 outings. Zach Wheeler, he's not pitching like a Cy Young, but he's still pitching like a solid number 2 pitcher. It's that Aaron Nola spot. So what do the Phillies, if you want the Phillies to go all in, if you think they have a chance, do they go out and get a fifth starter? Do they go out and I saw Drew Smiley's name floating around again this weekend. I'm like, dude, didn't we already do that? I know he's pitched well since he's left Philly, but do we really want another Drew Smiley reunion here in Philly? No. Do you go out and get a fifth starter? Trade minor amount of assets just to have a fifth arm in the rotation. Then if Andrew Painter's ready by September, you've got a sixth starter there. Do you go all out? And there's so many names floating around. I don't even want to get into each and every name. But is there a name that's an ace level starter that you're willing to part with multiple assets for? Are you willing to part with multiple assets for a rental for one more season? That's the question. And I ask you, have we seen enough to even know? Is this just a June turnaround? Or is this a June turnaround? Or is this just a June boom? Is this just, we faced some really bad teams, got some good momentum, beat the Dodgers? Is it you need to wait till the end of June to make this decision? The problem is, if you wait till the end of June, can we trust Aaron Nola and that fifth starter by committee bullpen game to keep us in enough games where the offense that's slightly turning it around now figures it out? And onto the offense real quick. We'll get back to the pitching in a second. The offense is obviously pitching really well right now. This is the team. They were underachieving, and now they are building confidence. That's fine, but the question is, there still are realistic question marks on this team, Mark. And the question is, will you or are you willing or have you seen enough to make some pretty, not bold per se, but realistic moves to improve this team? Because, you can't go on with Aaron Nola struggling. You can't go on with the 5th bullpen spot for months on end till Andrew Painter's ready. Are you willing to part with, some of your assets, some of your prospects to get a starting pitcher that's viable? I mean, even if you get to the playoffs, just say, long story short, you get to the playoffs barely again with the season Aaron Nola's having. Can you really go into a playoff season or playoff series having confidence with Wheeler, Nola, and Ranger with the way they're currently pitching? So do you go all in and get a top of the line starter, or you just ride it out with what you got? I think that's the big question. Dombrowski was part with prospect. It is his MO. But the question also goes, is it the right time to do that? Should you part with, we'll just say McGreary's the 3rd best pitching prospect. McGreary and some of the other prospects to go get somebody that could be a number 2 starter behind Wheeler. Do you part with Mick Abel and go get yourself an ace level guy? What are you willing to risk? I got thinking about this because it was somebody had just written an article about remembering the Roy Oswalt deal and all that. I forget all the things they gave up. None of it really prospects are that, just prospects. You never know what you're going to get with a prospect. But we gave away a bunch of prospects for Roy Oswalt. They didn't amount to much in the pros, but Roy Oswalt got us to that playoffs that year in 2010. Without that Roy Oswalt all-in move. Now, it didn't transition in the playoffs. I think 2010, that was the Giants year. That was the Cody Ross getting hot in the playoffs year. What are you willing to do? What have you seen? Have you seen enough of this team to be willing to do that? And I'm just not sure how far down the line, I don't want to go the Drew Smiley route again. But do you go the Drew Smiley type route on another 5th starter to plug and play there and just tweak a little bit? And that's a big question. The last prospect we parted with that was mild regret was Carlos Carrasco. Absolutely. It's crazy to see how many prospects that 2007 through 2011 team parted with. Untouchables. Before Dom Brown was the untouchable player in our farm system, Michael Taylor was. He was an outfielder. If anybody doesn't remember Michael Taylor, he was untouchable. And Michael Taylor ended up having 4 at-bats, I think, in major leagues because he was just so bad. Prospects are just that, prospects. Now, sometimes you do have an elite prospect, someone like an Andrew Painter, that you can't turn away. But Andrew Painter's already got arm issues. Just hear me out here. Look at what Sixto Sanchez is doing right now. The guy can't get on the field because of injuries. I almost believe you don't rely on these young prospects. You trade them, and you hope you get a pitcher that's already proven. I mean, just think about it. Just think about Sixto Sanchez, how untouchable he was. We trade him away in the JT Realmuto deal. Him and the catcher. What's the catcher's name? The catcher's barely floating around like AA right now. I mean, just think about it. Sixto Sanchez was Andrew Painter 4 years ago in our system. Now Andrew Painter's hurt again. So prospects are just that. I'm okay when you trade prospects, but I'm more okay with it when the time is right. Kyle Drabek was supposed to be the next big thing, man. I mean, Kyle Drabek, you think about it. When we had the baby aces in the minors, it was Drabek. It was actually, I think Adam Morgan was actually a starter. The lefty reliever was a starter at one point in the minors. There was a whole bunch of guys. None of them amounted to starters. Morgan became a good lefty situational pitcher for a few years for us, but that is what it is. Logan O'Hoppe and Mickey Moniak are 2 to watch. I think O'Hoppe will be the one to watch. Mickey Moniak, he's kind of sometimes feels like he's turning the corner, but he just doesn't do it consistently enough. So the thing is, you trade these guys, you keep trading them, and then people say, "Oh, you got no minor league system. What are you doing? You got no prospects." But the 07 through 11 seat run was built on the backs of prospects, yes, and the Chase Utleys and the Jimmy Rollins and the Ryan Howards, offensively speaking. But those runs outside of Cole Hamels, none of our major pitchers, none of our important pitchers were were brought up through the system. So I beg to ask, are you willing to make moves? Are the Phillies good enough? Are the Phillies close enough to make another run where you trade McAble or Griff McGreary? Or I don't know if any big enough name under control is out there. Ohtani is a name. Ohtani is available at the end of the season in free agency. The Phillies will be in the mix. Do you call the Angels and say, yo, can we talk to him? If he'll sign a long-term deal, we'll give you Andrew Painter. Right now, would you give up Andrew Painter as the starting package, because it's going to take more than that, for Ohtani from the Angels, as long as you have some form of confidence that Ohtani will stay here long-term? Like that, these are the things that I'm thinking of right now. But I ask, is this offense good enough? Is the rest of the pitching good enough? Is this team? The bullpen, I got to say, the bullpen has been fantastic this year for the most part. Alvarado just came back. He's looked a little shaky. He's gotten the job done, but he's looked a little shaky this weekend. First time back after being injured. But you got him. Craig Kimbrell is pitching really well. I'm riding the Craig Kimbrell closer till the wheels fall off. It might fall off in July. It might fall off in August. Maybe he makes it the whole year. I am riding the Craig Kimbrell closer train for sure. Soto's pitched better. Alvarado's back now. Hoffman's looking good out of the bullpen. We've got 5 guys that we could set out there. It was crazy when they activated Alvarado on Friday night and they sent Connor Brogdon down to the minors. I was blown away by that. Like, Connor Brogdon was my breakout candidate in this bullpen, and he's just not been able to do it this year. What is up, my man, Eric? We got other things on the agenda. You tell me what else you want to talk about. I got thoughts with the Chris Paul rumors, Miles Sanders chirping, some of my trolls out there that I want to bring up. But yes, I am talking Phillies. It's baseball season. There's only so much Eagles content right now going on. And how many more times can I talk about trading Tobias Harris? But I can say that once the NBA Finals ends, I got a whole Sixers show planned on the season ending, that a thought process that's already percolating up there. I hate that name Brogdon. See, people are harsh on Brogdon. I was a huge Connor Brogdon fan, but you don't like him because of other reasons. I don't know. Are you thinking of Celtics Brogdon, and that's why you don't like the name? That's probably what it is. I thought Connor Brogdon last year in the World Series and in the playoffs really set himself up to have a huge season this year. Didn't work out. But you listen to Rob Thompson talk, and for some reason I was listening to the pregame show on the radio when I was delivering, and he was asked about the Connor Brogdon demotion, what he told him to do, and it was he's still a part of this team. We just want him to work on it. He will be a part of this bullpen again down the line this year. We just need him to figure some things out. I mean, we don't make it to the World Series last year without Connor Brogdon. So, it's interesting. But when is it? We talked about this all the time with the Sixers. We talk about this with football and the Eagles. When is the time to be all in, and when's the time not to be all in? And is it okay for the Phillies? I mean, you look at it. So I got a serious question. Yes, Celtics Brogdon, Rob Joel of the Rookie of the Year. I think Dario Saric had a little part in that. I think Dario Saric had a lot of votes too. Stole some of them from Joel. I was thinking of something the other day. I'm fine with Levine, and I'm fine with CP3 if he takes a discount. Okay, so you want to talk Sixers for a second, Eric? I got you on this one. So Zach LaVine. So it's weird because Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan, one or the other is going to get traded this offseason from Chicago. They're not going to trade both. They're not blowing it up. They're working on re-signing Vucevic to an extension. They're just going to try to tweak it. They're going to say those two together, LaVine and DeRozan, don't work. Now, DeRozan will be the cheaper acquisition. You'll be able to get him for a little bit less. But I don't like DeRozan on this Sixers team because with Joel Embiid, you need three-point shooters. You need slashers. DeRozan's a mid-range shooter. LaVine, flashy guy. But I just don't – we talk about it all the time on the show from you guys saying Joel Embiid needs a number 2 that could be a number 1 in crunch time. Zach LaVine is not that number 1 in crunch time. He doesn't, to me, at least the 5 or 6 Bulls games I catch a year, plus odds, I don't see Zach LaVine as that level of take over a game in the final 2 minutes of a game because that's just what you need. Joel Embiid is still going to be taking that last second shot. And it's going to cost you more for Zach LaVine. It's going to take, Tobias to make the contracts work. It's going to take Springer probably. It might take even Maxey. I doubt it would take Maxey, but it might. It's going to take multiple pieces. Something like, are you willing to give up Tobias, DeAnthony Melton, maybe somebody else on the back end of your youth for Zach LaVine? And is that good enough? I don't know. On the CP3, hold on. What are you saying here about DeRozan? DeRozan, who was a one who closed his first year in Chicago. DeRozan could be that. Yeah, I guess. DeRozan's lack of ability or desire to shoot the three in this day and age in the NBA. Is DeRozan a better version or a modern version of Rip Hamilton? I'm a huge Rip Hamilton fan. He's a Philly product, whatever. I see a lot of Rip Hamilton, a mid-range shooter guy. Didn't they say Jimmy Butler wasn't a fit because he was a mid-range player? Yeah, and look at him in Miami, Drew. What's he got? He's got shooters all around him. In Martin, in Struss, and Vincent, in Duncan Robinson, and Tyler Hero when he's there. Jimmy Butler's success revolves around the fact that he's got a lot of shooters. Even when he was here with the Sixers, he had J.J. Redick shooting a career-high amount of threes. Was Bellinelli on that team too, maybe? If you're a mid-range, if you go out and get DeRozan, can you, survive? You would have to go out and you would have to go get Seth Curry. I had an idea, for this Chris Paul thing. I'll get into a second. Can you get 2 or 3 really good snipers? Plus, we've already talked about the fact that should Maxey get 3 or 4 more shots a game from deep, can he go from scoring 20 a game to 25, 26? If that's the case, if you can get Maxey up to 25 points a game, if you can get Maxey taking 3 more threes a game, maybe DeRozan would fit well in here. I don't know. I don't know if DeRozan for Harris, at least Harris, is willing to take the 3-point shot, from time to time. DeRozan is 33, and that's a fair point. DeRozan is getting up there, and Zach LaVine's had knee issues in his career. So I don't know. I mean, if they make a move with the Bulls, I won't be disappointed depending on what the move is. But on the flip side, I'm not ready to go all in and make that my sole focus of this offseason. I don't care about the 3 as long as he's putting the ball in the basket when we need him. Rip Hamilton's your cousin. We got to get Rip Hamilton on this show. I loved his game. It was probably because of Rip from Coatesville. Or was Rip Coatesville, or was he kind of? I always confuse who was from where. Rip and Kobe, which town? They both began with this, whatever. No, Kobe was Lower Merion, Rip was Coatesville. That's right. I need Rip on here then to talk hoops with. Yeah, but anyway, I lost my train of thought. DeRozan. I'm not making it my sole focus, the Chicago Bulls, but on the Chris Paul thing. What's this? You need snipers regardless. Absolutely. Rip originated wearing that mask. Rip wore it and then never took it off for the rest of his career. I was big on that Detroit team because of Rip and his Philly connection. I was big on that Detroit team because of, I don't know why I always get so confused when I say that. I don't. Larry Brown, the connection there. There were just so many connections to that Detroit team. And it was just such a gritty, tough team. I just loved the style that they played with. So I was into it. I'm late. Corporations breathing down my neck. Yeah, well, good luck with that. Chris Paul. And somebody brought up Chris Paul a second ago. Where's the comment with Chris Paul's name? Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, LaVine, and I'm okay if he takes a discount. I don't want Chris Paul on the Sixers necessarily. If you can work out a cheap deal, sure. He would be a great. You just had James Harden help develop Maxey's shooting and confidence. You can have Chris Paul come here and help develop Maxey's ball handling and floor general skills. That's fine. It's got to be super cheap. It's got to be super smart. But I think there's a scenario where you could do, and there's a lot of things floating around now about this weekend, a sign and trade 3-team deal. You get Harden to go to Phoenix, to pair with Booker, and to pair with Durant, and to pair with Ayton. Then you send Chris Paul to, say, the Clippers. He loves his West Coast. He loves L.A. You send him there. And then we get pieces back. We get off of the Chris Paul, or we get James Harden. we get something back for James Harden. We don't get locked into a deal with an aging Chris Paul. Would getting, just say, Eric Gordon. You could say, I was doing the numbers this morning. It's close to working out. I haven't figured out the exact. I started this too late this morning, didn't get it all in. But with something like an Eric Gordon, a Robert Covington, and a Landry Shamet to Philly, they're all 1 or 2 years left on their deal. You get Harden down there. You get Chris Paul, goes to the Clippers. Maybe we get a draft pick or two out of it as well. And then you still have Tobias Harris to trade for something else. You get a bunch of role players, so you're not losing Harden for nothing. Does 2 or 3 really good role players intrigue you more for James Harden than Chris Paul straight up for James Harden in a sign and trade of some kind? It's something that I'm really thinking about, and it does. Oh, Eric Gordon is old as hell. Don't get me wrong, but he's only got 1 year left on his deal, and he could be a bench scorer if we need it. He's definitely slipped in his career for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. And this is just the early framework that I just started on at like 8:20 this morning, putting together. So I didn't even look at the whole team and all the rosters and stuff like that yet. But I'm just putting in, and I just said the Clippers was the first team I did because he likes LA. I think they've got more tradable contracts than, say, the Lakers. It's just something I'm floating out there. Yeah, that's fine. Norman Powell's there too. I'm just starting the framework here. If I was going to the family reunion in Florida, it would have been a possibility. Dan, the next one I'll try. Hey, I love you, my man. I appreciate it. Rashid on that Detroit team too. Always the Philadelphia Stars. Yes, they lost 37-33 yesterday. I did check the box score. Look, is that something that interests you? You're going to lose James Harden, possibly. You could lose him for absolutely nothing. Would you rather lose him for nothing, or would you rather try to find a way to get him for something, get something for him? And I don't know. Like Chris Paul, you complain about people missing games. He actually played just about the same amount of games as James Harden last year. He does not score anywhere what he used to. And I wouldn't be against him. If you can get him on a 1 year, 2 year deal, cheaply, $12, $15 million, I doubt he'll take that. I'm sure someone will still pay big money for Chris Paul. People are going to pay big money for James Harden. People pay off of past success and not thinking about, what he really is going to bring to the table. So I ask you, like, what's a better scenario for you? Letting James Harden just walk. James Harden straight up with pieces for Chris Paul. Or James Harden to the left, Chris Paul to the right, and we get multiple pieces that build depth, that build future flexibility, maybe some draft picks. I lean to that way. And Phoenix is just one option. There's other teams that might want James Harden. If he's really interested in winning a title and if it's just not between Philly and Houston, there's got to be a scenario there where there's probably multiple teams that are willing to do a deal that involved James Harden. I don't think anybody is chatting the stars in the chat section today. Sorry, CP3 only has $15 million. I thought he was a player option. So I think he's in maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought he was a player option where he's a sign and trader. His contract was only partially guaranteed. That's why they're trying to trade him so that they don't, because it's $15 million guaranteed, but a $30 million deal or something like that. I don't know what the deal is there or how you work the money aspect of it. I hope Nurse gets some scouts in here. We need some Miami Heat type walk-ons to save this franchise. I mean, it's true. We keep throwing out all these ideas. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Chris Paul, whatever it may be. But the flexibility of this team is dreadful at this point. There's really not many options on what this team realistically do. We could throw out all these dream scenarios, all these things that look like they work on paper. But how many times we got to say it? There's a lot of teams out there. Every Tobias trade offer you come up with, I'm sure there's a team that could beat it. Unless you find a team that really wants Tobias Harris. I saw somebody post Tobias Harris for Marvin Bagley with Detroit because Detroit needs a scoring forward. Yeah, I mean, that's great. Does that do anything? I don't know. Weren't the Suns interested, or was that a rumor for James Harden? There's a lot of rumors. I don't know where the rumors originated. But there's rumors that James Harden still does not mind playing with Kevin Durant. It's not like they butted heads in Brooklyn. If you're losing Chris Paul, you need a ball handler in Phoenix. James Harden's a little younger than him. They're trying to go all in and win a title in Phoenix. In Phoenix, James Harden could be because everybody thinks James Harden wants to be the scorer. He doesn't. He'd be content making 8 or scoring 18 points a game. James Harden wants to be a distributor. James Harden wants to be the second or third option on a team. You put him in Phoenix with Durant, who he's already got some form of a relationship with, and Devin Booker, who is the young stud down there. A Booker, Harden, Durant trio makes sense on paper. Although we're seeing that you don't need 3 superstars to win a title. You need a better bench and depth and guys that can step up when a moment calls. That's what you really need. If you look at the 2 teams that are playing tonight in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, you need role players that understand their roles. So I'm not sure if it's a perfect fit or not, but the rumors are there. I'm not with the downgrade. If you're going to do a Tobias for a lesser player, you're going to have to slap another player with that, or be creative. That's the thing. Like Daryl Morey, the end of your thing. Be creative, people. Like if we have any form of success in 2023, 2024 season, Daryl Morey is going to have to be ultra creative. Daryl Morey has 2 options: be super creative, or re-sign James Harden to a max deal. I think James Harden, whatever team gives it to him, it's going to be completely nuts and insane. But James Harden will get a 4-year deal between $200 and $210 million. $210 if he's here, $200 if it's elsewhere. James Harden will get a max deal. No doubt about it, in my opinion. Question is, who are we laughing at for it? I hope it's not us. That's the whole point of that. What else did I have here on the so that was all I had Sixers wise. You guys keep putting Sixers comments in there. I do want a side note. I want to shout out. I don't know if you guys saw the bridge collapse on 95. Hey, anybody coming from the Northeast, you better start planning how you're going to get around to Phillies games and stuff like that. That was insane yesterday. When I saw that pop up on my news feed yesterday, that bridge collapse, man, that was some scary. I panic like stuff like that happening all the time. Travel across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge all the time down to the Outer Banks. I'm just like, oh man, what would happen, man? Dude, that had to be some scary stuff for the people that witnessed it, that were near it, that were under it, around it. Some crazy, crazy stuff. I want to sidetrack for a second. I want to get super sidetracky here for a second. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And I do live by the fact that your opinions actually matter. So we get a decent amount of views on this show compared to when I used to do it on other networks. But then a decent amount of live views. There's 11 likes on this. Make sure we're smashing that like button. Likes equal more shows, more time. Mark saying, I was at Cotman Ave exit Saturday night before the collapse, and it was an absolute cluster F. Dude, it's going to be insane. They're saying it could take 3+ months for them to rebuild that. That's insane. Yeah, man. Well, there was a fire from a tanker caught fire underneath the bridge. That's what caused it to collapse. Yeah, Okafor speed. So I want to bring up a little side thing. So again, we get a lot of replay views. People watching it on replay later on that they can't tune in the morning. And I check the views to see how it's working out, how every day. And I know Phillies on the agenda get less views than when Sixers do, and Eagles get the most views, et cetera, et cetera. Friday, we had a great Football Friday conversation this week. We'll pick it up again this upcoming Friday. But I just happened to go and see if there were any replay comments. And this is a replay comment that popped up on the last show. And I kind of feel like I finally made it in life, because there's somebody by the name of Honey Bunnies that obviously watched the entire show. I'm going to slide my face over here so you see me. What's up? And this guy right here, that way, telling me that I am the reason why people think our fan base is full of a-holes. I walk everything back, and I say dumb stuff. Like, I thought this was the funniest thing in the world when I saw this in the comment section, because I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not trying to say what I am or am not. But I'm pretty sure on this show, because in real life I may be an a-hole, slightly. There's a chance. There are some people at my job, my work, some customers. There's some people that might think I'm an a-hole, for sure. Some people in the content community might think it because, we butt heads sometimes. But man, to you guys, the viewers, I don't think I'm ever an a-hole. And this literally made my weekend seeing this. Because obviously somebody with the name Honey Bunnies is either someone that hates me, and I've butted heads with before, or just a troll. Once this popped up, it literally made my weekend. Phil's takes are sometimes asked, what? What? Only when you don't agree. Exactly. Oh, so Mark, are you saying you're Honey Bunnies? Because Mark, I did not know that you had a Honey Bunnies type nickname in you. Phil is a Philly Chad. Don't be sweating. Oh, I don't sweat him. I think it's hilarious. I think it's like a rite of passage. And if you read the whole thing, like his things that he didn't like were things said over the whole entire 80-minute episode. So he literally stayed tuned in for 80 minutes to get all that information in there. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, maybe you are. Maybe I found my Honey Bunnies. Can you be my Honey Bunnies, Mark? Is that even something I'm allowed to say? I just wanted to say that. I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was hilarious. So anyway, we didn't really get much Phillies. We'll continue the Phillies conversation tomorrow. Maybe some more later today when people tune in. But I do want to bring up 2 Eagles things. So we can continue talking Sixers if you want. If you got more Sixers comments there, we're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Like, shout, retweet, follow, everything. Tell everybody. We're at 12 likes now. Let's go. If the Phillies get the pitching, they can go far. But John, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like the video, share it out. How much pitching do they need? Do they need an ace? Are you willing to part with a star to get an ace pitcher? Is just a fifth starter, not Drew Smyly, but Drew Smyly's name was floated around this weekend. Is a fifth starter enough for you? I think you kind of sort of need both to an extent. Phil takes my love for the stars and people's elbows to heart. Phil, you should do the Chad face in the thumbnail. Yeah, I don't know about that. You got to have this guy on the show, man. I want to know who Honey Bunnies is. If it's Mark, I've already had Mark on the show. We're trying to figure out whether Mark really is. I do not cheat at golf. I do not. I shot an even 100. My first 18 holes in almost 18 months on Sunday. Me and my brother went out. Moccasin run in Kennett. No cheating. An even 100. Considering it was my first round in 18 months, I'll take that. Take that heartbeat. And there was a stretch from holes 9 through 13. 9th hole. Piped the drive. It was like 230, 240 yards down the middle of the fairway at 100 yards in. I'm like, dude, this is going to be a birdie. I'm going to finish out the back front 9, on fire. And I ended up getting a triple bogey on the hole. I shanked my 100-yard shot. Then I hit a tree on my chip shot. Then I 3-putted. It was just a disaster. And that dominoed for 3 or 4 more holes. And I got it back together at the end. I'm ready to go back out again next week. It was a blast to go out there. All right, so 2 things I want to bring up Eagles related. One was in the description of this show. Miles Sanders chirping this weekend or Friday, whenever it was, about his situation with the Eagles. And then I do want to bring up a Carson Wentz topic too that I want to get your conversations here or points or thoughts on. So first off, Miles Sanders. I'm gonna bring up these things. Hold on, we got another Phillies comment. We definitely need another frontline starter. Who or how we get him is up to Dombrowski. And John, we talked about it earlier in the show about just thinking of all the trades the Phillies made from 2007 to 2011, all those untouchable prospects, and how none of them lived up. Carlos Carrasco sort of lived up to a decent player, but that's it. So I'm okay trading prospects. Look, I'm not ready to have the full conversation yet. Maybe we'll start it off tomorrow. But I even said, you look at Sixto Sanchez. He was untouchable just like Andrew Painter. Kid ain't doing nothing. He can't even stay healthy. So, I'm willing to trade, and I want to trade. And I brought it up earlier in the show, John. I'm not ready to have the full conversation, but it's dancing around in my head. Ohtani. Would you trade Andrew Painter for Ohtani if you're guaranteed he signs a long-term contract in Philly? Something to think about. Well, we can pick that back up tomorrow maybe. Oh, he called you out. He said he get the ball in the pant. He said basically that he didn't get enough touches in the Super Bowl. Didn't he put the ball on the ground the first 2 times he touched it, Miles Sanders? And I was against losing Miles Sanders to an extent because I said 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, Hard to replace that. Just like that. Yesterday, I'd do that. Yesterday, you'd make the trade, but today you won't make the trade. I mean, you can't keep going with fifth starters. You can't keep going with what we've got in Aaron Nola right now. Not mad at Sanders. I don't think it was a big deal. Also, don't know the whole conversation or context. That's fair. I don't know the whole context. But it does rub me the wrong way when you don't say anything when you're in Philly, but then you go elsewhere and you're trying to use trash talk in Philly as a way to endear yourself to the fan base. That's the only thing. Like he's using the Super Bowl as a way to endear himself. So today, tomorrow, whenever, you would do it. So you would give away Andrew Painter plus, because it's not just going to be Andrew Painter. It's going to be Andrew Painter and some other stuff for Ohtani. But you're going to have to get Ohtani for locked up long term before you do that, or the commitment from him, in my opinion. But again, prospects are just that. Especially a pitching prospect that's already having arm trouble. Why not? Miles Sanders did not get the rock enough in the Super Bowl, iconic he's talking about. He did not get the ball enough in the Super Bowl, is what he said. But like I said, he put the ball on the turf the first 2 times he touched the ball. You're not gonna have confidence from your coaches if you're putting the ball on the ground in the biggest game of the year. And it just rubs me the wrong way. I was sad when he left. I was a Miles Sanders guy. But now that he's chirping, now he's like target number 1 and enemy number 1 to me. Like, I didn't think that would happen so quickly to Miles Sanders. And I think we did a very valid job replacing him. Penny, Swift. You know, you still got Scott and Kenneth Gainwell on the up and up. I also want to say to the Dalvin Cook rumors, he's probably going to Miami. He might go to Dallas. But I wouldn't totally write off. I'm not for Dalvin Cook coming to Philly, but I wouldn't write it off as a bad idea. Penny you could get off of. You know, Swift. You know, see, it's funny. You know, I'm talking about it and you're commenting. It's like, John, we're on the same page this morning. Like, I wouldn't go make a bold 3-4 year deal with lots of money and whatnot. But if he wants to sign a 1-year deal on a team that has a chance of winning a Super Bowl, sure. If you had to choose between Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins, I'm choosing Hopkins. But I have no problem with Dalvin Cook, you know, on a 1-year cheapish deal, because you could, like I said, Rashad Penny's contract is only $600,000 guaranteed. You could get off of that and just cut him if you had to. DeAndre Swift, you got him here. That could be your thunder and lightning there. Kenneth Gainwell, your third down back. You should not just write. People are either like, we got to go all in and get Dalvin Cook for $1 billion. Or people are like, he's a bum and he's a waste and don't even waste your time. We're good enough. Dalvin Cook is a special talent. And there's no doubt he is a special talent. He is getting up there in age. There's just no way I'm ready to just write off the topic or the thought. Sanders in his feels, I'll let it ride a time or two. 3 strikes, you're out. Don't be another, that's a fair comment right there. Do Eagles play Panthers? I don't even know. I don't really study the schedule till camp, really. I glance at it when it comes out, and that's about it. Gainwell ran hard the whole second half of the season. You don't want to go there. Absolutely. Penny and Swift, the definition of mid. Yeah. Aaron Nola is very mid, too. A team-friendly deal. Exactly. That's what I would do, John. If you want to get him on a team-friendly deal, I'm perfectly fine with it. I thought you already said no. So, see, here I am flip-flopping. That's why the guy calls me an a-hole in his comments. I didn't say no. I said no, we don't need him. But I wouldn't say no if you brought him in cheaply. But, yes, Cook to Miami is probably what's going to happen. But see, and DeAndre Hopkins is not going to come here? Probably not. Hunter Renfrow might be available. But DeAndre Hopkins, again, just like Dalvin Cook, these guys want a chance at the Super Bowl. Who's got the best chance in the NFC to make it to the Super Bowl? The Philadelphia Eagles. So these guys might want to come here because of the Super Bowl chances. These guys might want to come here on team-friendly deals to play with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is, you know, you look at sports like we talked about it last week. No one wants to play with Joel Embiid. You don't say, I want to go play with Joel Embiid. I'll take a discount. But you see a lot of players wanting to come to Philly because of Jalen Hurts. Swift could Cook Gainwell. I brought it up last week. I think it was on Friday. I couldn't remember all the names. We had that 3-headed monster. It was like Vaughn Hebron, Correll Buckholder, and maybe it was Deuce Staley was the third guy. That was really good. Then you had Charlie Gardner, Thunder and Lightning. Who was that a Ricky Walters year, the Thunder and Lightning? I forget who was opposite a Charlie Gardner and the Thunder and Lightning. Running back rotations work. It's perfectly fine. I did see some Hopkins to Pats rumors floating around. Yeah, I saw the news in the top, Hunter Renfrow and stuff like that. You're blowing up the chat 15 minutes before the show started today. You just couldn't wait for trending in the AM. Just couldn't wait. And I love that. I love that. So I do want to have one. We can keep this Eagles talk going here and the running backs and stuff like that talk. But I saw an interesting post from Liam Jenkins. He's the big boss man behind PSN, Philadelphia Sports Network. He's the founder. He's the guy that brought me in to do this show here on this channel. He posted a picture. He was in a thrift shop or something like that, and he saw a Carson Wentz jersey on the discount rack. I appreciate that. I'm a fan of you guys, too. He saw a Carson Wentz jersey on a discount rack, an Eagles Carson Wentz jersey. And he said, should he buy this? Because it's a great deal. It's in great shape, whatnot. And I commented, and I said, it's on Twitter there, that he should buy it. Because Carson Wentz, down the line, will be remembered differently than he is right now in Philly. I still think there will come a time in Eagles fandom and Eagles history and lore that we will remember Carson Wentz in a different light, and that wearing a Carson Wentz jersey won't be a big deal. Got to remember, we don't win the Super Bowl in 2017. We don't get to the Super Bowl in 2017 without the season, the MVP season Carson Wentz had. And the question is, how long will it take you to get over the Carson Wentz debacle that thinking positively of Carson Wentz's tenure here will happen? I'm not ready yet to completely move on. I'm not rocking my Wentz shirt tomorrow. But I think in 10 years, Carson Wentz, it'll be safe to wear it. Now, I don't think my Ben Simmons jersey will ever be safe to wear ever again. But my Carson Wentz one, I think there will come a time where it's safe to wear. Watkins' position is a layup. I wish he'd call up D-Jack and work out with. I mean, somebody brought up, Eric, a few weeks ago, would I want Deshaun Jackson back for one final run? Probably not. But if you can get Deshaun Jackson to retire, maybe come in as a summertime, part-time coach, that's a great, great idea. For sure. I don't mind that one bit. How is it trash-talking Eagles? Miles said he was disappointed. I think it comes across as bitching and moaning, basically, in my opinion. He's saying that, I didn't get enough touches, and maybe he's hinting at, and again, maybe I'm taking it out of context because I just saw the quotes, not the whole conversation. Maybe he's trying to hint at that we would have won the Super Bowl if I was involved more in the offense. Maybe? I don't know. Falco dusted off and put back up. Yes, I did it as soon as the show was over. Carson Wentz is Prince Harry in disguise, confirmed. My wife and I both have Carson Wentz Super Bowl jerseys hanging in my closet. So, John, I ask you, when will you feel comfortable breaking that out and wearing it in public? It's not yet, probably. But I think there will come a time. Like, I still hold bitter feelings on how the Carson Wentz situation ended. But I have bitter feelings towards Carson Wentz because it's one of the first big mistakes I made, opinion-wise, in content creation, was about how great I thought Carson Wentz was. Going into the 2020 season, I just started content creation. I was on the AT Birds channel. Me and those guys, we had a podcast once a week. That was our start. That was my start. And I said Carson Wentz was the number 4 quarterback in the NFL. That's why I won't put Jalen Hurts at number 4. I'll either put him at 3 or 5. Can't have them in the same spot because that's bad luck. But Carson Wentz was I used to use the hashtag Wentz is elite all the time. And he proved me so, not even mid. Like, that wasn't a mid opinion. That was a wrong opinion. You'll face Bills in playoffs, Phil. So we're going to play the Bills in the Super Bowl? I don't know about that. I do not know about that. I never hated Wentz. His back-to-back flame out in Colts and Washington is an instant karma we needed. Water under the bridge. So, Eric, would you rock a Wentz? We got John up there saying he's got a Wentz Super Bowl jersey. Eric, would you rock a Wentz Super Bowl patch jersey in public today? Or does it still need time to get over? Because, and the other aspect of it, does the success of Jalen Hurts kind of ease the pain of the Wentz bomb, of the Wentz, debacle? I think it kind of does. Who's going to the Raiders? Carson Wentz? That'd be a semi-interesting place because he might be able to start there even, or get a chance to start at some point. I still do, but I get so you do rock it. Well, John, more power to you because I don't have the confidence to rock it just yet. The Carson Wentz. I thought it was a very interesting thing when players leave a city or bomb out or have controversy. I have my Donovan jersey hanging up over here. I still won't even rock it in the background. You know, there's a lot of Ben Simmons will never be welcome back to be worn or rocked around here. What's the end line? Like when can you move on and do that? You would wear your Wentz stuff right now, and you'll get comments for it, just like John does. I'm not really ready for the comments. Maybe my jerseys can get rocked, but maybe not the full jersey just yet. I'd rock that Wentz jersey with Kelly. Oh, my God. Stop the Kelly Green. Eric, it's my hottest take that everybody hates me for. I know Mark, if he's still watching, he'll crush me for it. Kelly Green is the most overrated color and jersey, and I am not looking forward to it being back. And every time the Eagles rock Kelly Green, which I saw pictures that some store accidentally released the Eagles Kelly Green jerseys a little too soon, you will not see me buying a single Kelly Green thing. I don't like it. I like Midnight Green. I'm a Midnight Green Eagles fan over Kelly Green. That's just me. Just like I'm not rocking the maroon Phillies, the old school Phillies. Too much negative connotation to me and memories. Like we stunk in Kelly Green. Why do we care about Kelly Green now? Oh my God, John. I think we are like destined to be best friends of all time. Because I get crushed on this show in the comments anytime I say Kelly Green sucks and is overrated. I just remember losing with Buddy Ryan and losing with Richie Kotite and losing with Kelly Green. It's like the maroon Phillies gear. They were losers with the maroon Phillies gear. Like, I don't want to bring back those bad memories. I won't dare wear it at the link. You should. I'd pay you $5 to rock it at the link. Yeah, that's all I got is $5. You would get high fives, you think? No, you would get other things for wearing Kelly Green. All Kelly Green equals great trip. No. Kelly Green is excessively overrated. And I hope Honey Bunnies, and we're going to put Honey Bunnies just in case he tuned in late, his fantastic comments about me up here on the screen, and I'm an a-hole. I'm probably an a-hole for not liking Kelly Green. I'm over it. I'm going to save this in the overlay section of this show forever because I'm going to pop it up. When I do my U.S. Open preview, I'll show tonight, Fairway to Heaven, 9 o'clock right here, picking the winners of the U.S. Open, all the best fantasy lineups, fantasy golf. I'm going to put this up on the screen again tonight. It will be up on the screen all the time now. Ben Simmons is forever banned. Absolutely agree with you on that. There's no way I'll ever rock my Ben Simmons. I actually was looking for a shirt to wear to bed last night, and I have like a thin, dry fit Ben Simmons jersey that I got at Walmart that I loved. And I'm like, I'm going to put this. I'm like, I can't even wear it to bed. I'll end up nightmare sleeping in it. I'm a big dude, but no, never to like you might be a big dude, John, but you're a smart dude for sure. Kelly Green is below average. It's not even mid. It's below mid drip. Okay, in my opinion. I get hater comments on Twitter, on my Twitter comments for sure. And I know I have trolls out there, and there's a few people I've butted heads with over the past. So I'm thinking Honey Buns is one of the people I butted heads with that just think I'm a terrible person. That's probably what it is. It's just what it is, you know. But they still watch my stuff because they know I'm mid at doing this, so that's better than them. So it's probably what it is. Kelly Green is nostalgic, gangrene, and right. But Eric, how many playoff games did we even win with the gangrene and Cunningham? Like, I don't get the fascination with an era of mediocrity, an era of bad. Like, I don't. This is like the third time in like 18, 20 months of doing this show. 2 months. This is the first time doing a Kelly Green segment on Philadelphia Sports Network. But when I was on DSM, used to do Kelly Green segments all the time because I just hate it. I find it so overrated. It's Fairway to Heaven, 9 p.m. tonight. If you would have to put on that Ben shirt, you probably would have missed the bet. Comment of the show right there. We're going to just end the show. Wrap it up. Show over. I'll find the next time I get one. I'll find one. I'll put it on here. Cunningham was good. The Rocket Arm. I still remember when he was on the front cover of Sports Illustrated for kids. They still make that magazine? Do they still make magazines even? I don't know. I'm making your face twitch. Dude, I love you guys, the family that we're building, the community we're building here in the morning. But if I ever find a way to completely offend everybody on the show, it's going to be about how below mid I feel Kelly Green is, except for my new best friend. John, am I going to say it right? You guys know I butcher names, so John, apologize. John Hongi? Hongi? Is that how we say it? I don't know. I don't know if I said that right. I don't even know if I said that mid right. I don't like Kelly Green. I don't. Anything associated with a losing team, I just don't like. Kelly Green equals losses. It equals my childhood losses. I still wanted to be Randall Cunningham, but I still don't want a Kelly Green Randall Cunningham. I don't want a Kelly Green Jalen Hurts jersey. Not at all. I don't want a Kelly Green Eagles t-shirt. I don't want a white t-shirt with the old Kelly Green Eagles logo. No. Done. I don't want that weird-ass AI whatever design logo that somebody redesigned using like AI or something like that. That's scary looking, if you've seen that. But, damn, Kelly Green, overrated, not necessary. You'll never see me buy a piece. Now, if somebody bought me a piece of Kelly Green, I might wear it to bed or, to do the dishes, but I'm not even going to rock it in public. Like, I'd rather rock my Sixers Jimmy Butler jersey than a Kelly Green Jalen Hurts jersey. No doubt about it. Real quick, hold on a second. Before we wrap up the show, let me switch my baseball tab here that I had up to NBA tonight. Heat, Nuggets, Game 5. Nuggets are up 3-1 in the series. Do the Nuggets wrap up the NBA Finals tonight? Before we wrap up the show, I just want to make my predictions on it. Do they wrap up the NBA Finals tonight? I think they do. It's in Denver. No need to go back to Miami. They are 9-point favorites right now at home. Denver, over-unders at 209. Can they stretch it out, Miami? Make it a 6 or 7 game series? I originally predicted 5. I thought game 1 would have been when Miami won. It wasn't, whatever. I think Denver is just way too talented. They're playing way too good. Miami seems to have run out of magic, in my opinion. They're not even keeping, other than the game they won, most of these games have been pretty far apart score-wise. I don't think Miami has what it takes. I think Miami loses tonight. I think Denver wins. I think they hoist the trophy in front of their home fans tonight. The Game 5 series is over. And then we could start the conversation tomorrow with how do the Sixers build a team that can win an NBA Finals? Like, really, really, look at that team, the Denver Nuggets, and what they have and how they get there. I mean, you don't have a Joker on the Sixers, but you got Joel Embiid. How do we get our Jamal Murray? How do we get our Michael Porter Jr.? How do we get our Aaron Gordon? That's the question. And I think they win tonight. I think they win something like 110-95. They win by double figures again tonight. I don't know if I would lay 9 points, but I'd be close. I don't think I'd be too mad. We got to plan a trip chat. We are going to come to Phil's Pizza Shop, dripped in Kelly Green and custard pies. Oh, my God. You are more than welcome to go to the pizza shop anytime. And I will put on a Kelly Green jersey if you all come out. Plan a big party, at the pizza shop. We'll do a lot. I mean, these shows are too early for me to do a live show at the pizza shop. Maybe I'll do a trending in the AM in the afternoon. I'll do a live show from the pizza shop at 3 o'clock in the afternoon one day. Maybe we'll do it before the season kicks off for the Eagles. The week or two before the Eagles season kicks off, we'll do a mid-show at mid, as in mid-time, midday. Iconic Chatter will drive all the way down from Buffalo to come see the show. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up right there. I hope you guys agree. We will be back tomorrow morning, trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. Like, share, retweet, follow, shout it from the rooftops. Tell everybody, pound that like equals more. Got to do it. We only did a regular hour show today. No extended shows yet planned this week, unless some kind of big breaking news happens. We'll keep it to just simple hours this week. I didn't talk about Phillies and the All-Star game, and I think that's a big thing to talk about with the Phillies. When you're talking all in on the Phillies, do they even have any All-Star players? They do, but not as many as you would think based off the way the fans think of this team. So we'll get into that. We'll see how the Phillies do tonight against the Diamondbacks. We'll see what happens with the NBA Finals tonight and where that transitions into the Sixers. We'll bring that up tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in today for Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Y'all have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.